Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to Lion Voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here, hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
We look at His Majesty as royalty, thinking, all of this, but he didn't have any money, just like I don't really have the money to do all of the things that I used to do. We're still pressing on forward, faith and works, and we see that he did accomplish what he set out to accomplish in terms of the establishment, and I are accomplishing what we accomplished, but it's the same chart when you look. Yes, the royal dignity, and he had, to he was wealthy, of course. He moved through earth as a man of the upper echelon in terms of economics. And I always say that Haile Selassie show us, Yeshua said it's easier for a camel to enter through an eagle eye than a rich man to enter into Zion. It's a popular. Haile Selassie shows us, the royal sons and daughters who aspire to have great wealth, the chart that is necessary in order to be deemed worthy to enter into that eagle eye, that Zion.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice. She's like the flowers in my garden, and her heart has never hardened, and she give me loving in the morning. Babylon, you are go far without no warning. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so we both could help each other. And then I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so we both could help each other. Started in the village, now we in the city. Journey where we have together, everybody see. Spent a little time out in captivity. Babylon, their plan was to destroy the family. Still I want you to bring a child for me. Maybe in the spring when birds are sing lovely. Maybe we could plan to have a summer baby. I can be the man that you depend on. Put the pen to the paper, made a love song. Babylon, they separated us for so long, and the reason that they hated us was so wrong. Still the most High, he created us, we so strong. Then same Kushite and the Dogon. Love your melanin, no follow for them program. Black woman, me not go pass on you for no one. No one, that's my slogan. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so people could help each other. Then I wanna be your lover.
Saturday, November 4th, the Ancient Divine Order of the Nyabingi and Rastafari community presents a cultural event in commemoration of the 93rd anniversary of the coronation of Haile Selassie I and Empress Menen Asfa. Starts at 4 p.m. Opening ceremony at 5 p.m. with African drumming and dancing. A children arts and crafts center. Live performances by H.I.M, Chayud, Kaya, Ambassador 7, Revolution, Sharoni, Papo Dejazmatch, Kwasi, Junior B, T Harmony, Harry Mo, Jania, Modern Nile, Rastafari, Empress Ima, Rush Attitude, music by DJ Kaz, Check 9 Sounds, Kibble and Empress Sound, Zion Roots, Aki Becca Sound Station. All taking place at General Butthole Park, Freedom City, St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Food and drinks on sale.
Vendors welcome. Keeping the Pan-African vision alive.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Panafrican Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion Voice and welcome to the Lion Voice Network here on the second largest search engine on the planet, YouTube. Welcome all of our new subscribers, all of our new followers, and big up. This is the Lion's Voice. This is the flagship program on the platform where we are building, cultivating Rastafari man to lead prosperous Rastafari future, where we touching topics that are relevant and that impact Rastafari in this time. And in doing so, of course, is relevant to the Pan-African community, which Rastafari is a part of the Pan-African community. We are going to ensure that that remains the case ever, because His Majesty, the Father of Africa, and also humanity. By keeping focus, I have been able to provide content that's relevant for all humanity, because what's relevant to Rastafari, of course, is going to be relevant to humanity. Once you feed the root, the branches are going to flourish. So, welcome here. Right now, we have a special episode because we're in the coronation time. Thursday coming, we are going to be celebrating the coronation. Nyabingi Isis will be chanting around the creation. Bobo Shanti Isis, 12 tribe of Israel, all the non-aligned, non-affiliated Rastafari will be, in a state of reverence to the day November 2nd, 1930, the coronation of His Imperial Majesty and Empress Menen Asfa. What a day! Declaring to the world, black man, woman, and child on the throne of King Solomon, 225th in the line, Solomon, 226th in the line of King David. This was a global event. Representatives from all the recognized powers, colonial powers, predominantly at that time, because they were controlling the earth. But representatives were at the coronation to show their respect to the young Negus who had ascended the throne, who they had been watching now for decades, with a modernization plan, quietly, patiently building Zion, establishing the foundation of Zion, the foundation that will be the cornerstone of a united Africa, as we can see unfolding before us today. So it's a very relevant day. Big up to the St. Croix Nyabingi house. I will be traveling to St. Croix for the Nyabingi Isis right on Thursday while the reverence is happening. I will be chanting Nyabingi with I family. I've just heard news that our elder Bongo Wisely will be treading as well. Other ones are treading in. So this is going to be a mighty gathering. Ones are calling in because, of course, the word sound going out. So, it's a special moment in time about to happen. So big up TAFARI, all of the St. Croix family. We're going to be getting some exclusive coverage, exclusive interviews. I'll be doing uploads from St. Croix to keep everyone up to the fullness. So if you're not subscribed to the platform, please subscribe. And before I get into today's topic, so I want to just big up the Washington, D.C. Rastafari community, the Universal Development of Rastafari, IDOR, in conjunction, Big D Promotion, one of our big promoters here, and live music, sound engineers here in the Washington, D.C. area. We're coming together to do a fundraiser for one of our Asians, Iris, one of our mighty Asians. So tomorrow, this fundraiser will be happening. So I just want to take the time, big up Ras Iris, big up Mama Danita, big up all of the Rastafari family in the Washington, D.C. area. Lion Voice will be there. We will capture some exclusive footage so the item can see how we gather in Washington, D.C. for our elders, age protected event. The flyer was donated by the Lion Voice Network. So big up Lion Voice Network. We are actively engaged in the work. We don't just up here and run our mouth, family. We're actionists. We're doing the work. So we're going to bring the work to the global family. The item can meet some of our Washington, D.C. Family and see how Rastafari, how we move when it's time to rally for our elders. And today's topic, we're going to talk about 3 areas of preparation that Negos Tafari was doing, or Negos Tafedi was doing, to prepare for the coronation, the work. We talk about the ceremony, and I'm going to read a passage that touched my heart, family. Today's book is Haile Selassie I, The Formative Years. So, reading Ras selection, we haven't done one in a while. We're going to get forward to it. The formative years. And let me just say before we get into today's topic, 3 areas of preparation His Majesty accomplished. We're going to look at the military, we're going to look at the church, and we're going to look at the economic system, the Bank of Ethiopia, establishment of the Bank of Ethiopia. I want to show the Rastafari man the levels that I and I Father move on creation, and how we have to be thinking now as we embark on that same work, as we embark on continuing that same work, that same journey, the building of Zion. We have to see the foundation, the source of that inspiration, how it manifested in the physical form to do the work that was done, that continues to be done. I want us to really, on this channel, high level reasoning. Like I said, this is not the mix-up station. This is not the, happy-go-lucky station. The Rastafari man standard we're looking to establish, so that we can create a standard for our youths them to aspire to, so that we can build the institutions necessary to take us to that next step of the evolution. This is not just a reggae music chart. This is not just a Bun Ganja chart. No, His Majesty is I and I leader, and he has shown us the way. So we have to follow, and this is what we're going to talk about and examine. Big up the Lion Pride. Big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. We have one of our patrons getting ready to get some merch. How it works with the Patreon, the longer the longer you're apart, you get benefits. I think a mug is gonna go out. I'll try to get an iTrade of the mug when it reaches the one, so they can get some memento. Reading Ras merchandise, something nice. We're building a community. We're building an ecosystem here, and all of the support. I know we only have 3 fire angels in the Patreon. I'm really appealing to the family. $10, $5, $25, $40, whatever you can support. But if you are serious about building Rastafari Nation, Rastafari Media is crucial. And you can see with this platform, we're bringing the frontline workers to the fore. You'll see with the Chart to St. Croix the type of coverage that we're going to provide, just grassroots, but we're going to make sure that we bring the essence of what's happening, the positive of what's happening, so we can build those stepping stones. So if you want to invest in that, so we can build out a media apparatus, the Vision production studio in Ghana, multimedia, we want to start with these different shows. We have Lion Voice, Lion Talk Live, and Lion Law. Those are our programs, but we want to expand to more programming, other creators as we build the platform. We're trying to get this to 2,000 subscribers by November 1st. Family, we are close. At the time of recording, we're at 1916. Where His Majesty was crowned as Ras. So we're trying to get to, again, 2,000 subscribers. So share. And the word sound is going out. Levi, the core of Rastafari, have been watching. I've been getting the calls. I've been getting the texts. We're gonna get forward to the relationship topics as well. I reaching out. We're gonna have a sister on here to talk about the challenges of Rastafari, sister in finding King Man. We're gonna get deep into the thing, because we are here on a mission, rebuilding the Rastafari family, and rebuilding our image. Really constructing our image and taking control of the narrative of our image, because up to now third parties, and yes, we get the reggae and the ganja. We don't own none of them platform their family. So they show the part of Rastafari that they feel is glamorous, which is the reggae and the ganja. They don't want to talk about Kadamawi Haile Selassie the first. Don't want to talk about the great achievements. They don't want to talk about I who aspire to fulfill the work to be that build that one Africa. They don't want to talk about that part. So we have to take control, family. So again, support the Patreon, run in to the Patreon. Let's get it. I'm aiming for 1,000 in the Patreon by the Ethiopian New Year 2017. So do what you can, support I in the Patreon, and let's now get into the topic. All right, I wanted to just read something first here. It touched my heart when I was reading about the coronation, because for the frontline workers of Rastafari, this one is going to touch you, because the parallel of Rastafari building Ethiopia to I trying to build I nation right now are exact, one for one. We look at His Majesty as royalty, thinking, all of this, but he didn't have any money, just like I don't really have the money to do all of the things that we used to do. We're still pressing on forward, faith and works, and we see that he did accomplish what he set out to accomplish in terms of the establishment, and I are accomplishing what we accomplished, but it's the same chart when you look. Yes, the royal dignity, and he had, to he was wealthy, of course. He moved through earth as a man of the upper echelon in terms of economics. And I always say that Haile Selassie show us, Yeshua said it's easier for a camel to enter through a eagle eye than a rich man to enter into Zion. It's a popular. Haile Selassie shows us, the royal sons and daughters who aspire to have great wealth, the chart that is necessary in order to be deemed worthy to enter into that eagle eye, that Zion. And we see it's difficult. Again, the Almighty Himself have set that pathway. So for I, it's so crucial. Again, in this time of Armageddon, the World War III unleashed. It's been happening for some time. Israel, Hamas conflict is just the latest unfolding. So I don't want anyone and big up all of the people who have watched last Saturday. We're over 1,000 views. We want to get all of the videos, the Lion Voices, over 1,000 views. It feels good to know that the people are taking it in, the watch hours, all of these things on the Israel. So I know people have an interest. But World War III has been happening for some time. This is the latest unfolding of this, slow dragging war. When we read history, we always think these things are just overnight. No, there are events that escalate things, but don't be fooled that World War III has not started. It is 1,000% in play right now. So we have to, as we're building in this time of great instability, of uncertainty, we have to return to the history, get the lessons from my father so that we can rise again. That standard. And I'm talking to the brethren. This channel is 95% male viewership. I'm talking to the brethren. We have to hold ourselves accountable. It's time. We can't look to the queens and the princesses and look for them to lead the way. No, they are there to assist, and they will create the balance. But it's I have to lead. Ras mean head. Can't forget that. All right, so I just want to read this part here so that I can see. And this is Harold Marcus. We talk to Raseku, and I'm going to be linking with Raseku. He's going to be honored in St. Croix, so we're going to bring you that. Big up Raseku. It was Raseku that provided I the link to, I have to acknowledge the Asian who really set this pathway, the vision that the Asian have connecting the dots, connecting Lion Voice with St. Croix family, who, to be fair, were watching the Lion Voice, the ones have been watching. So it's just a connection. But I have to big up Raseku. His full interview is available on the platform as well, so make sure you check it out. But this is from Harold Marcus, and Harold Marcus was visited by Ras Sekou and Ras Miguel Lauren. Full interview of Ras Miguel Lauren also available on the channel. Two of the preeminent Rastafari book publishers. We had Dottie Bookman, who's the next young up and coming publisher. So you can see the reading Ras, how me I move with the platform. But we have all kind of people that we're bringing on the platform. I have some big interviews already recorded, ready for drop. But however, let I stay focused. I can get excited, family. Let's stay focused on the mission. So, this is talking about the coronation of His Imperial Majesty Emepror Haile Selassie I. It says, Haile Selassie's coronation in November 1930 advertised his intention to reign in a manner both innovative and reformist. Having brought Ethiopia into the League of Nations and established diplomatic relations with a number of countries, the new emperor determined to make the event a coming out party for the revitalized and renewed state he headed. This decision, made at a time of economic crisis, when most of the government's programs remained incomplete or unstarted, reflected the emperor's pride and faith in himself and in the ability of Ethiopians to, quote, get things done somehow. Ever mindful of Ethiopia's historical isolation and the lack of foreign participation at dynastic events, Haile Selassie set his heart on a royal representation at his coronation that was ready to consider a refusal a deliberate slight. Invitations were sent to 7 monarchs and 5 presidents, each of whom agreed to designate an appropriate envoy, to representatives of the world press, and to every important Ethiopian and foreign resident. So you can see, the Irish His Majesty bringing as it relates to the coronation. Many of the government programs were incomplete or not yet started. Where is the Rastafari school, Rastafari health center? These things are incomplete or in some instances have not been started. However, that does not mean we don't press forward, brethren and sisters. The coronation still happened with that faith and that determination, and in the same way, we have to press forward with our agenda, which again we will be bringing forward on this platform. So if you're not subscribed on the platform, subscribe on the platform again, so we can centralize and build together. And big up all of the other Rastafari creatives who are on YouTube. I will be seeking them out so that we can connect Rastafari press, Rastafari media. Some of them, we've connected already. We're going to do a better job, in moving forward in the future, so we can have more collaboration, more, just a framework in terms of I and I cultural assets as a immunity. So we're looking forward. We're just getting started. But I want to talk about 3 specific areas of preparation. So we hear about the grand coronation, massive event. All of these representatives from around the world, historically we talk about 72 nations. I have not been able to do the exact research. I've never seen the 72 specific nations listed out that were in attendance. However, that's the number that we typically block within the tribe. But however, what is clear is that all of the major powers had their representation there. So within those major powers were several colonies and different things. So any way you look at it, it was a global statement, globally recognized affair. But first, number one, want to talk about some of the work that Negos Tafari was doing prior leading up to the coronation. One was the procurement of armaments, he had been trying to negotiate for Ethiopia to have the ability to import arms. And what had been happening in Ethiopia up until this time is that, the different races might have deals with different people. Arms are coming in all about the place, through all sides and all tribes. Harar was one of the key importation center for arms. So this is why Harar was such an important asset during the time of Johannes, why he sent Menelik down there to subdue Harar, because they wanted to make sure they control that stream of modern weapons. So in August of 1930, Ethiopia concluded the arms treaty with Britain and France. Italy was also a part of that, for the importation of arms, setting forth how much they were. His Majesty was trying to push that limit. There was talk, and all of these details are in Haile Selassie first formative years, trying to push it to 400 and, over 400,000 pounds in armaments, which at the time, would be millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars in today's currency, which at the time represented about 12% of the trade that Ethiopia had. So, there was argument, how come he's trying to use so much of the money to import arms? Ethiopia was responding, we need them to be able to arm our military, our police, to, making sure that they can respond to rebellion, foreign invasion, so forth. Of course, Italy was opposing Ethiopia getting these things because they had their designs. It's later revealed by Mussolini that they had been plotting since their defeat at Adwa. However, they had to capitulate and allow a certain amount to be brought into the country. And in that same year, before the arms treaty, His Majesty had brought in some Belgian officers to train the imperial bodyguard. His Majesty had brought in some Belgian officers to train the imperial bodyguard and the police, so starting to formalize the capability, the defense capability. So this is just one aspect of detail that His Majesty has to keep in his mind while leading up to the coronation. Number two is the ecclesiastical, the church at the time. The Church of Ethiopia was subservient to the church in Alexandria, the See of St. Mark. So they had to get an archbishop from Egypt. Oftentimes didn't speak the local language. They would be responsible for the ordination and the consecration of the bishops, as well as all of the affairs. What His Majesty did leading up to the coronation is, and as Negos, is that he had a young group of Ethiopian priests that he was supporting. He sent them to Cairo to help to appoint to bring forward an archbishop, who would later become Archbishop Krilios, who was there for the coronation. But they selected someone who was not a powerful figure in the church, so someone that would have to rely on them for ecclesiastical strengthening, because His Majesty was looking forward for the day when Ethiopia would be able to appoint their own archbishop. They wanted that sovereignty in terms of ecclesiastical, because over the hundreds of years, of course, Ethiopia has its own characteristic from the Coptic Church in Cairo. So His Majesty did that. And what he did is that the Ethiopia would be solely responsible for the economic and executive powers within the church. So all of the practical things, the archbishop would only be dealing with the ordination and the consecration, the ceremonial, ecclesiastical aspects, but the actual functioning of the church, His Majesty made it so the Ethiopian spiritual ones would be the one to deal with the financial and executive functioning of the church. 1930, the Archbishop from Cairo actually made a visit to Ethiopia for the first time, very historic, because of course now that His Majesty is doing all of these reforms, they want to come and see who is this and what is he doing in the country. Massive things happening. So His Majesty wouldn't engineer the full separation of the church till a much later period. But again, before the coronation, these were the early chess moves that he was making. And this is consistent with His Majesty. The moves that he's making are may not have fruit for decades or even years. The moves that he's making may not bear fruit for years, maybe even decades after. And we have to look at it like that, because if we look at our elders who said legalize the herb, enough of them never lived to see the day that the herb legalized, where I and I as youths are seeing that happening around the world, not because of Rastafari going into Congress and doing this and that, but the peoples of the world rising up, the sound. So I and I have been on the right side of history consistently, and likewise His Majesty. So again, we're continuing in that same frequency, that same energy. The number 3 area, which I find very fascinating, is the economic building of Zion, because this is the part that our generation has to pay close attention to. This is the part where our elders, they said, take your bag of money, give I Rastafari love, that was a chant. Now we want the bag of money and we want the Rastafari love, you understand? Because we need the bag of money to build the health center. We need a bag of money to build the this, the that, all of those things. So we want both of them now. We want the bag of money. But that chant, though, I'm being funny, but that chant is really saying, you can take your bribes, and people talk about the bag right now, the young people, get to the bag. So even that, the chant is from the 60s, 50s, 60s, take your bag of money. And you see even now the bag is the biggest thing. So the elders had that foresight in their sound in terms of what they were talking about. But now as youths, we understand the importance of money and finance. And in the building of Zion, His Majesty, being a wealthy man or being a man of the upper class, was able to use his own personal finance to build and to strengthen the government. And this was a great example, is that he used his personal funds. By this time, at the time of the coronation, the Ethiopian currency was the Merit Teresa, which was pegged to the price of silver. It was a silver coin, basically. So when the price of silver went up, people would come and get as much currency and ship it out the country because it's silver. And then, the worth would be, and then at a time when the price of silver dropped, then it becomes very expensive to import goods. So His Majesty wanted to stop that. So the bank was in shambles. They had the building that was there. It was run by the Bank of Cairo. But there was no money in the government coffers by that time. This is also, the Great Depression is happening in the US. This is a global economic downturn. So 1930 was a dreadful time, similar to what we're seeing today, to be honest. But it was a dreadful time globally in terms of the global financial system. So what His Majesty did is use this to his advantage. He took his personal funds and bought the Bank of Abyssinia, and then when he bought it, he didn't call it the Bank of Teferi or the Bank of Tafara. He nationalized it and made it the Bank of Ethiopia. So he took his own personal funds and gave it to the state. So the people who talk about Haile Selassie I and corruption, um, this is why we don't take them serious, because they don't do no research. They don't understand the heights of what Haile Selassie I gave to the state. These are from his legitimate businesses. Remember, he's inheriting estates and different things from Ras McCunnin, who was inheriting things from his mother, who was inheriting things from Prince Haile. This is nobility, you know? So they have money in the family, passed down generational wealth that we talk about. They have that generational wealth. He's taking that generational wealth and putting it into the state. Personal money, he withdraw the money from the Bank of New York, which is, he had money in the Bank of New York. He actually closed his account at the National City Bank of New York in July of 1930, taking out £125,000, which was about $320,000, and he sent it to the Bank of Egypt in partial payments, with the final payment being received July 1st, 1931, and the Bank of Ethiopia officially opening on October 12th, 1931. But in 1930, as I said, the bank was empty. You know, it was a holding, for the Bank of Egypt, and the cost of that was £190,000, including £40,000 for canceling Menelik's concession, because there was a contract agreement, so his might had to buy Ethiopia out of that agreement, and then and that was an agreement that was signed in 1905, and then there was £25,000 for the building and the equipment, so he had to purchase all of that, again taking his personal funds to do that. So all of these things are happening in the context of the coronation. And next episode, we'll talk about some of the preparations and the transformation of Addis Ababa. This book has a great account, so we'll go forward and we'll read some of that about all of the work that was done in the lead up to transform Addis Ababa. The first paved roads, certain things, lights, electricity, how his mice had to raise money from the private sector at the same time, to get things done, because again, he's making all these arrangements to nationalize the Ethiopian bank. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's building Addis. So think about the mind. That's what I want I and I to do. Think about the mind of the man who is simultaneously negotiating arms agreements, who is simultaneously securing the spiritual independence from the Church of Egypt, who simultaneously is setting up the economic infrastructure for Zion, and then at the same time, as we'll learn, was planning the uniforms for the soldiers, who was overseeing the construction. He became the chief foreman of Addis Ababa. This man is not a construction site builder. He becomes a chief foreman, doing site visits daily, to ensure the work. And there's, accounts of this, how, he would even assist, and, so it's not just come and look, see. All of these things happening at the same time. We want to just consider the mind. And to the Rastafari brethren, we're not saying that the item have to be at that level of doing all these things. But even if we take one, and achieve that level of mastery, that is the journey of the Rastafari man. That is the level that is going to be necessary in this Gideon to fulfill what we have to fulfill. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about preparation, leading up to the coronation. This is the grand coronation. Again, big up St. Croix family. Will be in St. Croix next strong, all the next strong. Exclusive content coming to the platform. And I want to document the history of the entire Caribbean in terms of Rastafari throughout the Caribbean. I have some other interviews. Big up Honorable Priest Marcus. We just had him on the platform talking about the history of Rastafari in Bahamas, the Nyabingi House and the House of Rastafari in Bahamas. Big up yourself, Honorable Priest Ras Marcus.
I want to answer model car question. What advice do you have for young Rastafari brethren? The guy was very fiery now. What advice would you have for a young brethren who wants to find a queen and to have a family? How would you advise that brethren to move? What should that brethren be doing?
First of all, I advise the brethren first, just put his majesty first, right? Just put his majesty first, a royal highness first. And then, like more times, like I say, you have to clear up your doorstep before you clear up someone else, right? So just strengthen yourself as a Rasta man. I see, strengthen yourself in all aspects. As the things which, as a Rasta man, you should be self-reliant, having and more independent as to say, well, like try to build your home, as I said, more be self-reliant and, having a trade or a job, keeping up in them cycles because, Empress, they look for security, they need security, but they're looking for a man, so if you can't really provide, like if a man living with his mother and, parents and things, like, and you have a woman, then that's a serious thing. So I tell them, not use them. And they feel like I fighting them down. I was trying to show them that, okay, when they talk about girlfriend and all them things or Empress, I show them, okay, which I say, Emil, who you live with? They tell me say they live with their mother or their Grammy or somebody. I say, see that, then you're done getting wrong. I say, I ain't gonna tell you that you shouldn't probably say what you should focus on first is strengthen up yourself first. You say them because then I say if you want to strengthen up, I say the Bible teaches say when a man find a wife, a woman, he must leave mother and father's house. And they must build on their own. So they come together as one. So when you find a woman and you find a good thing, so you want to make sure to bring her in a home, which it could be your home, and then you want to be able to provide for her, which is because you might have a family, like other brothers say you have 2 children, that's just good. And more times, well, he be in a relationship. This is the same brother say he be in a relationship for 15 years,
Sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir. So you don't have a empress and you don't have your youth stem. So the best thing, like I say, is like let His Majesty be your foundation, and you say and you follow His Majesty teaching and Empress man and respect your queen. You say hero, say them because they have a voice and what I mean, and that's your strength. You say they saying, and then more times listen to your youth them too. You know what I mean? We all have expectations for our youth them. That's what I learned as being a father and growing up my youth. You know what I mean? Because like I say, I grew up 7, and all of them have different personalities, different. You know what I mean? So you have to learn them, know their personalities, learn to respect their opinions. The other guy you'll do for any others because they are you, they are family, as I said. So I do, and when you and then provide time, because time is the most important thing with family. Because sometimes we tend to like, get carried away or spend plenty of time either by the camps or either this way or that way on the job or whatever that means. Spend the time with our family, you know what I mean? So,
Crucial. That's a crucial one.
right. So, you have to make sure you have family time.
Yeah,
They said
family
you
time
spend time
crucial.
with your family, as they said, and then like, like reason with them, because then like a family to pray together, stay together. So if you want your family to stay within Rastafari, then you have to build that within them, within Rastafari. You all have to build that together. You see what they saying? And then more times that the next thing is you have to practice what you preach. I am. Right?
Mighty. So, as you can see, family, we're building, we're connecting the dots, we're studying the teachings of His Majesty, we are cultivating and owning our narrative as the Rastafari family. Why are we doing this at this time? You may ask. We're doing it because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
She's like the flowers in my garden, and her heart has never hardened, and she give me loving in the morning. Babylon, you a go far without no warning. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could have be my children's mother. But no struggle, so we both could help each other. And then I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could have be my children's mother. But no struggle, so we both could help each other. Started in the village, now we in the city. Journey where we have together, everybody see. Spent a little time out in captivity. Babylon, their plan was to destroy the family. Still I want you to bring a child for me. Maybe in the spring when birds are sing lovely. Maybe we could plan to have a summer baby. I can be the man that you depend on. Put the pen to the paper, made a love song. Babylon, they separated us for so long, and the reason that they hated us was so wrong. Still the most that he created us, we so strong. Then same Kushite and the Dogon. Love your melanin, no follow for them program. Black woman, me not go pass on you for no one. No one, that's my slogan. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so we both could help each other. Then I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could be my children's mother. But no struggle, so we both could help each other. She's like the oxygen in my flame. Loving where we have nobody can contain. Love so powerful, survive shackle and chain. Love it cross the ocean way before planes. Love survive them torture, rape and dear pain. When one escape, then the other get blame. That's why I never put no one above you.